Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So check it out. Have you ever actually wondered how new Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies are made? Like, where does it come from? It doesn't just pop up out of nowhere or out of thin air. It's actually based, because of us. What do I mean by us? Well, these guys are crypto miners, right? We're the reason why cryptocurrencies are able to exist, why new ones keep getting generated, so on and so forth. Most of us, we go ahead and put our mining stuff on a pool where we share the difficulty as well as the rewards. But me personally, sometimes I like doing solo mining. It's exciting, but also very risky. The risky aspect of it is it's like you playing a lottery ticket. You can spend a bunch of money on one of these and never hit a block. Or you could spend a bunch of money on one of these and hit a block and pay everything off in one foul swoop, right? So over the next 10 minutes, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and do a little bit of a dive into the concept of solo mining and why sometimes it's good and other times it's not. So if we think about the crypto network itself, Bitcoin, ETC, Caspa, stuff like that are all proof of work, there is a mathematical equation that comes out every X amount of time. Based on the algorithm, there's a different time span for all of it. But every set interval of time, these blockchains are putting out a super complex mathematical equation to be able to try to be solved. And this guy right here is one that's going to solve it. Basically, what ends up having to happen is this guy has to be able to guess right first. Once it guesses right first, it will actually get the opportunity to go ahead and solve the equation. If it does solve the equation, then you're going to be rewarded with the full block reward. So solo mining itself means that you're doing this whole thing by yourself, which means it's either all or nothing. You're either going to hit a block or you're not going to hit a block. There is no constant rewards or anything else like that. And the problem with it is if there's another miner that gets that block calculation first, you don't get anything. There's no sharing it. That's sort of the reason why everyone does pool mining instead of solo mining. Let's go ahead and actually break down how all this actually works step by step, right? So first you set up your mining software either on a regular computer, GPU, FPGA, ASIC, CPU. There's all kinds of different ways to be able to mine, right? Your machine then takes a bunch of pending transactions and starts crunching those crazy calculations. It's basically trying to find a magic number. It's almost like me putting my fingers behind my back saying, guess what number I've got up behind my back, and you guess the right number. If you say it's 2 and I said, yeah, cool, that's the same type of thing that's going on with crypto miners. They have to guess that number first. Then from there, depending on the unit, we're going to be sending out so many different possible solutions for the problem. This guy right here, for instance, this Doge miner that I've got right here, calculates at 700 mega hash per second. So if you look at, if you think about it, I'm going to have it on the screen here, but if you think about it, 700 mega hash is a huge number of guesses you're taking per second. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get as many guesses as we can. And when we do hit the right answer, it broadcasts out across the entire network. Hey, I solved it. It's me. I get it. At that point, the network has to confirm it. Once the network confirms it, guess what? They go ahead and send the payment out. They send out the block rewards, which is whatever the block reward is plus all the transaction fees for it. So there are people, when they hit a solo block of Bitcoin, for instance, they get over 3.125 Bitcoin. And it's because of the transaction fees. Now, if they're very lucky and there's high transaction fees for that day or for that block, they get all of that as well, which is amazing. But the thing is, if you're on a pool, you got to pay your cut to the pool. Excuse me. So for instance, the other day when I did my video on solo mining Bitcoin 2 and me hitting a block, I had to pay a 3% reward to the pool itself because they went ahead and they allowed me to put my miner on there for the pool or for solo mining. All right, so now I got to be real with you guys because this is the part a lot of solo mining videos kind of gloss over. What are the odds of winning a solo block in 2006? They are very rough. And the reason why is the difficulty is all the way up here. The hash rate power on the blockchain is all the way up here. And that means that there's so many different people trying to guess their rewards. That's why sometimes it's nicer to go ahead and try to solo mine a block that is, or a chain, an algorithm, or a block chain that is not as big, but you're not going to get the same type of life-changing rewards. So the total computing power fighting for blocks right now, the hash rate is absolutely massive. We're talking about hundreds of exahash per second. It's enormous. I couldn't even imagine how many zeros that is. I just know that we were at petahash, now we're at exahash, and there's another one after that. I can't remember which one that is, but the Bitcoin blockchain is continuously going up. So let's say you've got a small home miner. Like for instance, I've got my Bitaxe Gamma right over here. It does roughly 1 terahash per second. My odds of finding a Bitcoin block is something like 1 in a million per day. I'll probably never see a solo block from this Bitaxe Gamma. Now here's the little asterisk you got to put next to it. There are people who are using those guys or the predecessors to the Gammas that are less hash rate that have actually hit solo blocks. It's not impossible for something that small to hit a solo block. It just depends on if it's got a good, if it's able to make the right guess before anyone else does. And that's the nice thing about solo mining is it doesn't matter if you got 1 terahash or 500 petahash. They all have the same chance of trying to hit make that guess. The only difference is you're getting 500 petahash worth of guesses versus 1 terahash worth of guesses per second. Obviously, this one over here is going to have a higher chance of hitting, while this one over here has a significantly lower chance of hitting. But that's one of the things. So because of that, and the odds of that thing actually being able to hit a block is very minimal, people are more prone to putting it onto a pool because they're going to get a guaranteed payout every X amount of time for the coin. So that's one of the things that you really have to take into consideration, is the difficulty and how hard is it for these guys to actually do it. The more hash power you have, the better chances you have of. All right, so let's go ahead and hit you with the pros and cons really quick, because I think this is where it's going to get interesting. So what are the pros? You keep 100% of the block. No pool fees, especially if you're mining to a node. If you're mining to a pool like I'm doing with my BC2 with these guys here, I've got to pay a percentage of fees to that pool itself. But once I get my own node set up and I point everything to it, 100% all me, all the time, which is amazing. Something that's also really cool about solo mining is it's educational. It's fun. It really is. When you get lucky enough to hit a block, holy crap, I could not explain to you the feel that you get. You guys if you guys are ever fortunate enough to be able to hit a solo block, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is the most incredible feel. But here's some of the cons. It's very difficult to get one of these. The variances are really high. You could be running for months and not hit a block. I just told you guys a little bit ago that these guys, I hit a solo block with 90, almost 100 terahash worth of combined hash power. But that's combined. That's not per unit. When you're breaking this down, you've got to put each individual unit in there to see what are the odds that this guy's going to hit. And you know what? I never expected my Magic Miner to actually hit a solo block, but it did. It hit a solo block in Bitcoin too. Freaking amazing. That's the one that actually got me the rewards. It wasn't the brand new one I just got. Hopefully that one's going to hit soon. It wasn't one of these smaller ones that I have, but it does happen. And then the biggest con is how expensive is it to run these things. This guy right here is running my FMO1. It's pulling somewhere around 1300 watts. The new one that I just got, it's just over 1,000 watts. That's a lot of electricity that you're consuming, and you're paying that out consistently. And it doesn't, until you hit a block, you're in a deficit. You're not making anything. That's the problem with solo mining. But the pros are also really good, Cons are really bad, pros are really good. At that point, you have to decide for yourself, is solo mining worth it to me? I can tell you for me, I enjoy it. I like the feel that I get from actually hitting a solo block. If you are going to be looking into doing something like this, check out in my description below. I do have links there for a couple of different places where you can buy your crypto miners and save some money. If you guys are interested in the video that I just did not too long ago, where I was showing you a miner that I got from eBay, he's actually opened up his own store. I've got the link for his store down there too. And honestly, when you do the math of what that unit is that I have, what it's hashing at what it's using as far as electricity, it's almost better to get one of those than it is to buy the newer versions of the Nerd Axes and stuff like that. Are they great units? Yeah, they're all great units, but it's almost better to use one of those. If you are mining or buying coins, don't store them on an exchange. Exchanges are vulnerable. There's the old adage, the old saying, not your keys, not your crypto. Use a cold storage unit, whether it's a Tangent wallet, which I hope that I have a referral link to put into the description down below. If I do, you'll see it. I've also got a Ledger wallet. I've got a OneKey wallet. I've got a bunch of different hardware wallets. That's where you should store your coins, on a hardware wallet, because at that point it is your crypto, not sitting on an exchange. Put it on the exchange when you want to sell it and get rid of it, but store it on a cold storage. That way it stays safe. Please don't be one of those people. I mean, heck, I had money sitting on a couple of different platforms prior, and they're not around anymore. So please don't do what I did. Store your coins on a cold storage hardware wallet, something that is non-hackable. So ultimately, the question is for you guys, what do you guys want to try to do? Are you guys interested in solo mining? Did I give enough information for you guys? If not, let me know down in the comments below, and I'm happy to try to answer any of your questions down there. But is solo mining worth it? For me, it is, because I love the rush. I'm also sort of in a little bit of a different situation where I can manage the electricity without having to sit there and struggle. If you guys are struggling between solo mining versus pool mining, and it comes down to you've got to make money every day, pool mining's for you. If you got something small like this Bitaxe Gamma or a Nano 3S or a Nano 3, a Magic Miner, any of these, and you've got a little bit of extra cash to spend on electricity every month until you hit a solo block, go for it. Just have the realistic expectation that when it comes to a solo block of any coin on SHA-256, it's going to be significantly more difficult. Do your research, do your due diligence, and figure out which coin you want to try to mine, as well as whether you want to do solo or pool. Don't just dive into it. This is all an educational process. Even for me to this day, I'm still learning so much about this market. It's an exciting market. I love it. The next thing I want to try to learn is how to read the candles, like what I've got on this card right here. That's all you guys got to do. Just try to figure it out. But for me, I am going to go ahead and keep solo mining with these guys at least for another week or so. Then I'm going to switch over to pool mining, because I do want to start earning some kind of revenue. And I'll catch you guys in that video when I tell you guys what pool we're jumping onto and why I decided to do that. Will I be putting my SHA-256 miners back onto Cryptex's Quai algorithm, or am I going to be putting them on there to go ahead and mine Bitcoin? Don't know. Have to wait and see. So with all that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me like, comment, share, subscribe, turn the bell notification on, set it all. Let me know down below any questions that you guys have or concerns. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was actually pretty fun for me to go ahead and try to explain it to the best of my ability. And I just want to know what you guys think. So I'll see you guys soon. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day.